What if you could reclaim 3 hours of your life every time you travel between Germany and Denmark? Imagine skipping the slow ferry, bypassing endless traffic, and instead gliding beneath the Baltic Sea in a matter of minutes. This isn't science fiction. It's the Fehmarnbelt Tunnel, a mega project so ambitious it's set to become the world's longest immersed tunnel. But how do you even begin to build something like this? And why is the world watching so closely? Before we go deeper, what would you do if you suddenly had 3 extra hours every time you traveled? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you love stories about extreme engineering, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a new episode. For decades, the Fehmarnbelt Strait separated Denmark from Germany, making direct travel a challenge. The only real option? A ferry ride that could take up to an hour, plus loading and unloading time, not counting the wait if you missed the boat. Every day, over 7,000 vehicles and hundreds of trains cross this route. That's like moving the entire population of a small town across the sea, every single day. The bottleneck didn't just frustrate tourists. Truckers hauling goods, families visiting relatives, and business travelers all faced delays that wasted millions of hours each year. The dream of a fixed link dates back to the 19th century, but it wasn't until the early 2000s that Denmark and Germany began serious talks. After years of negotiations and environmental studies, the two countries signed a historic agreement in 2008 to build a tunnel, 18 kilometers, or about 11 miles long. Construction kicked off in 2020 with a price tag of over $8 billion and a vision to open by 2029. Let's talk scale. The Fehmarnbelt Tunnel will stretch 18 kilometers. Imagine laying out 170 football fields end to end, or the distance of 10,000 yellow school buses parked bumper to bumper. Engineers are constructing 79 massive concrete segments, each about 217 meters long. Think 2 football fields, or the length of 20 city buses lined up. Each one weighs up to 73,000 tons, which is as heavy as 14,000 cars, or roughly 2,000 African elephants. The total concrete used could fill more than 10 Olympic-sized swimming pools, enough to build a sidewalk from Copenhagen all the way to Paris. These segments are built in a custom dry dock on the Danish coast. Once finished, they're sealed, floated out to sea, and carefully lowered into a trench dug into the seabed. Precision is everything. If even a single segment is misaligned, it could compromise the entire tunnel. To prevent leaks, each joint is sealed with advanced waterproofing systems and monitored by thousands of sensors sending data 24/7. The tunnel must withstand the pressure of the sea above, the shifting sands below, and even the impact of passing ships' anchors. To protect the structure, engineers will cover the tunnel with layers of rock and gravel for stability. And here's what makes this tunnel unique. It's multimodal. The lower level will carry a double-track railway, while the upper level will have a 4-lane highway. For the first time, you'll be able to drive or take a train directly from Scandinavia to mainland Europe. No more waiting in line for a ferry. Imagine, a journey that once took 5 hours could soon take just 2. That's a game changer for millions. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. The tunnel segments are so large, they're built in a facility the size of 140 Olympic swimming pools. Each segment is constructed with precision, using state-of-the-art robotics and quality control systems. When it's time to move them, tugboats guide the floating segments over 18 kilometers of open water, a delicate ballet that requires perfect weather and flawless timing. Once in place, divers and underwater drones help align the segments to within centimeters. Think about that, joining together structures the size of city blocks underwater in near zero visibility. To keep the tunnel dry, engineers use a combination of high-tech waterproof membranes and massive rubber gaskets. If water ever does leak in, pumps can remove thousands of gallons per minute, enough to fill a backyard swimming pool in seconds. The tunnel's interior will also feature high-tech ventilation, lighting, and safety systems. In case of emergency, escape routes are built in every 110 meters, about the length of a soccer field, so no one is ever far from safety. And the innovation doesn't stop there. The Fehmarnbelt Tunnel will be equipped with smart traffic management, real-time monitoring, and even self-healing concrete that can repair tiny cracks automatically. Here's a fun comparison. The total amount of concrete used could build a sidewalk from Copenhagen to Paris. But this tunnel isn't just about concrete and steel. It's about transforming lives. Meet Anna, a Danish student who commutes to Germany for university. Today, she spends hours waiting for ferries and navigating traffic. Once the tunnel opens, her commute will be cut in half, giving her more time to study, relax, or just enjoy life. Local businesses are already preparing for a boom. Hotels, restaurants, and shops on both sides of the strait expect a wave of new customers as travel becomes faster and more reliable. Imagine being able to leave Copenhagen in the morning, have lunch in Hamburg, and be back home for dinner, all in a single day. For families, that means more reunions, more celebrations, and more memories made together. But there's another side to the story. Ferry workers, whose livelihoods depend on the crossing, face an uncertain future. Some are worried about job losses, while others are hopeful that new opportunities will emerge, from tunnel maintenance to increased tourism jobs. The project also brings together a global workforce. Engineers, builders, and specialists from over 30 countries have come together, sharing knowledge and forging friendships that cross borders. Would you rather work on a ferry or help build a tunnel that changes history? Share your answer below. No mega project is built without setbacks. After the 2008 agreement, the tunnel faced years of environmental studies, legal battles, and heated public debates. Environmentalists raised concerns about marine life, while some locals worried about noise and disruption. Construction finally began in 2020, but the COVID-19 pandemic brought new delays and challenges. Supply chains were disrupted, workers had to adapt to new safety protocols, and progress slowed. In 2024, the first tunnel segment was successfully placed on the seabed, a major milestone and a huge morale boost for the entire team. But with 78 more segments to go and unpredictable weather always a threat, the pressure is on to keep the project on track. Despite the obstacles, the team's determination is unwavering. Every day, hundreds of workers, engineers, and specialists push the limits of what's possible, united by a single goal: to connect two nations beneath the sea. There have been setbacks, unexpected storms, technical hiccups, and even protests that halted work for days at a time. But each challenge has been met with creative solutions, and relentless teamwork. Think about it. If you stacked all the tunnel's concrete segments on top of each other, they'd reach higher than the world's tallest skyscraper. So, what does this tunnel mean for the future? First, it's expected to cut carbon emissions by shifting traffic from ferries and trucks to electric trains, a major win for the environment. The tunnel will also reduce congestion on local roads and highways, making travel safer and more efficient. Thousands of jobs are being created, both during construction and after the tunnel opens, from engineers and builders to hospitality and tourism workers. The economic ripple effect is huge. But the project isn't without controversy. Environmentalists continue to monitor the impact on Baltic Sea wildlife, pushing for strict protections and habitat restoration. Engineers are working closely with scientists to create artificial reefs and monitor water quality, hoping to balance progress with preservation. Once completed, the Fehmarnbelt Tunnel will become a vital link in the trans-European transport network, making it possible to travel from